What if a worn-out Washington state quarter in your pocket is worth millions? Even scratched and damaged coins can hide rare errors collectors will pay a fortune for. In this video, we reveal the most valuable state quarters, even in bad condition, so check your change before it's too late. First up, the 1967 Washington quarter is a coin that represents an era of transformation in the United States, not only in terms of its physical characteristics but also within the broader social and economic fabric of the nation. Part of the Washington quarter series that began in 1932 to honor the bicentennial of George Washington's birth, the 1967 issue continues to bear the timeless profile of Washington on the obverse, designed by John Flanagan. His design, which had endured for decades by 1967, features Washington in left-facing profile, his expression dignified yet approachable, with intricate detailing in his hair, eyes, and facial contours. Encircling his portrait are the inscriptions, "Liberty," at the top, a declaration that anchors the coin firmly in the ideals of the nation's founding, and, "In God We Trust," along the left side, a phrase codified into U.S. coinage law decades earlier that emphasizes the moral and spiritual ethos the country sought to embody. Beneath the bust of Washington sits the date, 1967, clearly struck, indicating the specific year of minting, which situates this coin historically within a decade of significant social upheaval, political change, and economic adjustment. On the reverse, the coin features the heraldic eagle, perched atop a bundle of arrows and clutching an olive branch in its talons. This imagery, which has appeared on quarters since the original Washington design in 1932, conveys duality. The arrows symbolize the nation's readiness to defend itself, while the olive branch conveys a desire for peace. In 1967, this symbolism held resonance in the context of the Cold War, the Vietnam conflict, and domestic social movements. Coins such as this quietly circulated in the hands of Americans experiencing a period of tension and transformation, bearing witness to everyday life while embodying symbolic national ideals. The 1967 Washington quarter also marks a transitional phase in U.S. coinage materials. Prior to 1965, Washington quarters were struck in 90% silver, giving them intrinsic bullion value. However, rising silver prices and increased demand for coins necessitated a shift to a clad composition. By 1967, the quarters were struck with a pure copper core sandwiched between two layers of cupronickel, 75% copper and 25% nickel, creating a coin that retained much of the look and feel of the silver quarters but without the precious metal content. This change meant that while the 1967 quarter lacked the melt value of earlier issues, it remained highly significant for collectors and historians as part of the broader narrative of U.S. monetary policy and economic adaptation. The physical properties of the coin, including its slightly different color, metallic sound, and weight, can be noticed by a careful observer, and these subtleties contribute to its appeal for both casual collectors and numismatic scholars. When examining a 1967 Washington quarter in bad condition, one encounters a wealth of specific details that reveal the coin's long circulation history. Coins in poor condition typically display extensive wear. The high points of Washington's hair, cheekbones, and chin may be flattened. The eagle's feathers on the reverse can appear smoothed or partially merged, and inscriptions, including the minting date and motto, may be faint or partially illegible. Rim details are often worn down, and coins may show dings, scratches, discoloration, and the accumulation of surface grime, patina, or even corrosion. Spots. Such characteristics categorize the coin in low grades on the Sheldon scale, usually falling between good G4 and very good VG8. Despite the heavy wear, these coins still retain a degree of historical and aesthetic value. The story of decades in circulation, from pocket change to vending machines to cash registers, is physically embedded in the coin's surfaces. Collectors often value these low-grade coins not for their perfection but for their authenticity and the narrative of everyday American life they carry. The 1967 Washington quarter was produced at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Coins struck at Philadelphia bear no mint mark, while those from Denver carry a small D located on the reverse beneath the wreath. Identifying the mint mark on a badly worn coin can be challenging, as wear often obscures the small letter, but doing so can impact the completeness of a collection or slightly influence market value. The Philadelphia Mint struck approximately 262,900,000 coins in 1967, while Denver produced roughly 277 million, making these coins relatively common in the general collector market. Even in bad condition, these quarters are widely accessible, appearing in coin shops, online marketplaces, and household coin collections, making them an affordable and approachable piece of American numismatic history. Beyond circulation wear, the 1967 Washington quarter offers collectors opportunities to discover minting anomalies and minor errors, even in low-grade examples. While finding a high-value variety on a heavily worn coin is rare, small misalignments, double dies, or planchette flaws occasionally surface. Collectors who specialize in error coins may seek out such examples, valuing them for their rarity and numismatic intrigue. The combination of high mintage numbers and the widespread distribution of these quarters means that while many examples are common, occasional anomalies create pockets of interest within the collector community. Value for a 1967 Washington quarter in bad condition is modest but notable for its accessibility. Circulated coins in grades good to very good generally sell for slightly above face value, reflecting their collectible appeal rather than intrinsic metallic content. While these coins do not reach the premium levels of pre-1965 silver quarters or rare error coins, they remain an important and attainable entry point for beginners. Collectors often seek such coins to complete typesets or circulation sets, and their availability at low prices allows newcomers to explore coin grading, historical context, and the nuances of condition without significant financial investment. Educators and numismatic programs also use low-grade examples like these to teach coin handling, observation, and history, reinforcing their value beyond simple monetary considerations. The 1967 quarter also carries significant cultural and historical weight. Coins minted and circulated during this period participated in the everyday lives of millions of Americans, quietly reflecting a nation undergoing social and political transformation. From the grocery stores and vending machines of the 1960s to the changing landscapes of urban and rural America, the coins of this era, even in bad condition, tell the story of daily commerce and social experience. The wear and marks on a coin reflect decades of interaction, a kind of tactile history that modern collectors often find compelling. Each scratch, worn feature, or discoloration serves as a historical record, connecting the modern numismatist with a generation that lived through the social upheavals, economic shifts, and technological changes of the late 1960s. Collectors who pursue low-grade examples often appreciate the 1967 Washington quarter not for perfection but for the story it embodies. Even a coin with a flattened eagle or a barely readable date represents a tangible link to mid-20th century America. Collectors may note the subtle differences in wear patterns, examining how the coin's history of handling shaped its surface. In some cases, the accumulation of grime, oxidation, or natural patina can actually enhance the coin's appeal, providing visual cues about its journey through circulation. Historical context adds depth. A heavily worn 1967 quarter may have passed through countless hands, witnessing events in daily life in a way that modern mint-condition coins cannot replicate. In addition to historical and aesthetic considerations, the 1967 Washington quarter in bad condition offers an educational lens into coin production. Understanding how the Philadelphia and Denver mints operated, the methods of striking, the transition from silver to clad coinage, and the materials science behind cupronical layers, all contribute to a deeper appreciation of the coin. Even in heavily worn states, the physical properties of the coin, weight, diameter, composition, can be studied to reveal information about mid-20th century minting technology and material choices. This knowledge is particularly valuable for collectors who want to understand the evolution of U.S. coinage and the economic reasoning behind the removal of silver from circulation coins in the mid-1960s. The 1967 Washington quarter in bad condition thus occupies a unique space in the numismatic world. While common and modest in market value, it provides an accessible entry point for collectors, a tactile connection to history, and an educational artifact demonstrating the evolution of U.S. minting practices. Its wear tells a story of decades in circulation, offering a visual record of American daily life and economic activity in the late 20th century. Whether used to complete a typeset, studied for minting details, or appreciated as a historical object, this coin embodies layers of meaning that extend far beyond its modest material worth. From the Flanagan-designed obverse to the iconic eagle reverse, from Philadelphia and Denver mint varieties to the subtle anomalies and errors, the 1967 Washington quarter remains a coin that captures both the tangible and symbolic aspects of mid-century American life. Even in the worst conditions, the coin holds value as a numismatic artifact, an educational tool, and a piece of living history, reflecting not only the monetary system but also the social and cultural currents of its era. Collectors and enthusiasts alike recognize that the story of a heavily worn coin can be as compelling as that of a pristine example, offering insights into circulation patterns, economic history, and the life of objects within society. Every scratch, dent, and worn feature is a testament to its journey, transforming what might seem like a common coin into a bridge across time, connecting us to the lives, transactions, and experiences of countless Americans from over half a century ago. Next up, the 1982 P. Washington quarter is an important and often overlooked coin in the long-running Washington quarter series of the United States, representing a period of economic adjustment, evolving minting practices, and subtle but meaningful changes in the way American coins were produced and distributed. Originally, the Washington quarter design itself dates back to 1932, when it was introduced to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the birth of George Washington, the first President of the United States. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, the obverse of the coin features a left-facing portrait of Washington, rendered in a classical style that has endured for decades as one of the most recognizable images in American coinage. By 1982, this design had already been in use for 50 years, making it a familiar yet historically rich piece of everyday currency that millions of Americans handled daily. The inscriptions, "Liberty," above the portrait and, "In God We Trust," to the left of Washington's neck frame the central image, while the date, 1982, appears below, marking the year of issue. The P mint mark, indicating that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, appears on the obverse for the first time in regular circulation quarters beginning in 1980, which makes the presence of the mint mark itself a relatively modern addition compared to earlier issues that lacked it entirely. On the reverse side of the 1982 P. Washington quarter, the familiar eagle design continues to dominate, with a stylized bald eagle perched on a bundle of arrows, symbolizing strength and readiness to defend the nation, while an olive branch beneath represents peace. The inscriptions, "United States of America," and "E Pluribus Unum," arc above the eagle, while the denomination, quarter dollar, is displayed below. Although the design remained unchanged for decades, by 1982 the coin itself was part of a modernized minting system that relied heavily on clad composition rather than precious metals. Like all quarters minted after 1965, the 1982 P quarter is composed of a copper core sandwiched between layers of cupronickel, giving it durability for long-term circulation but eliminating any intrinsic silver value. This composition makes the coin resistant to wear compared to earlier silver coins, but it still experiences gradual degradation over time, especially after decades of heavy use. When considering a 1982 P. Washington quarter in bad condition, the coin takes on a completely different character than a fresh mint state example. A heavily circulated coin typically shows extensive wear across all major design elements. On the obverse, Washington's hair details may be almost entirely flattened, with little to no separation between strands visible, and his cheek and jawline may appear smooth and featureless due to prolonged abrasion. The lettering of "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" may be faint or partially worn away, and the date, 1982, might be difficult to read at a glance. The mint mark, P, which is relatively small, is often one of the first details to fade on a badly worn coin, making identification more challenging for inexperienced collectors. On the reverse, the eagle's feathers may merge into a flat surface, the arrows may lose their definition, and the olive branch may appear as little more than a vague outline. The rim of the coin may also show significant wear, sometimes blending into the field of the coin, and the overall surface may be marked by scratches, dents, discoloration, and accumulated grime. Coins in such condition are typically graded on the lower end of the Sheldon grading scale, often falling into categories such as good G4, very good VG8, or even about good AG3 if the wear is particularly severe. Despite their worn appearance, these coins still hold value for collectors, especially those interested in assembling complete date and mint sets of Washington quarters. The 1982p issue, in particular, has an interesting place in numismatic history because it was produced during a time when the United States Mint was transitioning its operations and facing budgetary constraints. In fact, official mint sets were not produced in 1982 and 1983, which means that high-quality uncirculated examples of coins from these years are somewhat scarcer than those from surrounding years. While this scarcity primarily affects higher-grade coins, it adds an extra layer of interest even to lower-grade examples, as they represent a period when fewer coins were preserved in pristine condition. The mintage of the 1982p Washington quarter was substantial, with hundreds of millions of coins produced, ensuring that it remains a common coin in circulation and in collections. However, the sheer number of coins struck does not diminish the importance of examining individual specimens closely, even those in bad condition. Some coins may exhibit minor mint errors, such as off-center strikes, die cracks, or slight doubling in the lettering or design elements. While these errors are generally more valuable in higher-grade coins, they can still be of interest to collectors even when found on worn examples, particularly if the error is clear and distinctive. In terms of market value, a 1982p Washington quarter in bad condition is typically worth close to its face value of 25 cents, though it may sell for slightly more to collectors who need it to complete a set or who are interested in coins from the early 1980s. The absence of silver content means that its value is not influenced by precious metal prices, and its condition limits its appeal to high-end collectors. However, its accessibility makes it an ideal coin for beginners, offering an opportunity to learn about grading, mint marks, and the effects of circulation on coin surfaces without requiring a significant financial investment. Beyond its monetary value, the 1982p Washington quarter carries historical significance as a reflection of its time. The early 1980s in the United States were marked by economic challenges, including inflation and shifts in monetary policy, as well as broader cultural and technological changes. Coins from this era circulated widely, passing through countless hands in everyday transactions, from grocery stores to vending machines to public transportation systems. A heavily worn 1982p quarter is, in many ways, a physical record of these interactions, bearing the marks of decades of use and serving as a tangible connection to the past. Collectors often find a unique appeal in coins that show significant wear, as these coins tell a story that pristine examples cannot. Each scratch, dent, and area of smoothing reflects a moment in the coin's history, whether it was exchanged in a busy marketplace, carried in a pocket for years, or used in a machine countless times. This sense of history can make even a low-value coin feel meaningful, especially to those who appreciate the narrative aspect of numismatics. In conclusion, the 1982p Washington quarter in bad condition may not be a rare or highly valuable coin in the traditional sense, but it remains an important and interesting piece of American coinage. Its design, composition, and historical context all contribute to its significance, while its worn condition offers insight into the realities of circulation and the passage of time. For collectors, it serves as both an educational tool and a tangible link to the early 1980s, demonstrating how even the most ordinary objects can carry layers of meaning and history. Whether kept as part of a collection, used for study, or simply appreciated as a relic of everyday life, the 1982p Washington quarter continues to hold a place in the rich tapestry of American numismatics, proving that value is not always measured in dollars alone but also in the stories and connections that objects like these can provide. Next up, the 1969 Washington quarter stands as a representative example of mid-20th century United States coinage, reflecting both the continuity of classic American design and the economic transitions that reshaped the nation's monetary system during the 1960s. As part of the Washington Quarter series introduced in 1932 to commemorate the bicentennial of George Washington's birth, the 1969 issue carries forward the iconic design created by sculptor John Flanagan, whose portrayal of Washington has become one of the most recognizable images in numismatic history. On the obverse of the coin, Washington is depicted in a left-facing profile, his expression composed and dignified, embodying the ideals of leadership, stability, and national identity. Surrounding his portrait are the inscriptions, "Liberty," above and "In God We Trust," to the left, both of which frame the design and reinforce the symbolic values of the United States. Beneath the bust, the date, 1969, is prominently displayed, anchoring the coin within a specific historical moment marked by cultural transformation, technological progress, and significant political events. The reverse of the 1969 Washington Quarter features the enduring image of a bald eagle perched atop a bundle of arrows, clutching an olive branch. This composition symbolizes the balance between strength and peace, a recurring theme in American iconography. The inscriptions, "United States of America," and "E Pluribus Unum," appear above the eagle, while the denomination, quarter dollar, is inscribed below. Although the design remained unchanged for decades, the physical composition of the coin underwent a major transformation just a few years prior to 1969. Following the Coinage Act of 1965, rising silver prices led to the removal of silver from circulating quarters, replacing the traditional 90% silver composition with a clad structure consisting of a copper core sandwiched between layers of cupronickel. As a result, the 1969 quarter lacks intrinsic silver value but represents an important phase in the evolution of U.S. coinage, marking the shift toward more durable and cost-effective materials. When examining a 1969 Washington quarter in bad condition, the coin reveals the cumulative effects of years, or even decades, of circulation. Coins in poor condition often exhibit heavy wear that significantly diminishes the clarity of their design elements. On the obverse, Washington's hair details may be almost completely flattened, with the once distinct strands blending into a smooth surface. His facial features, particularly the cheek and jawline, may appear worn down, lacking the sharp contours seen in higher-grade specimens. The inscriptions, "Liberty," and "In God We Trust," may be partially faded or difficult to read, and the date, 1969, may show signs of wear, though it is usually still identifiable. The rim of the coin may be worn or uneven, sometimes merging with the field due to extensive abrasion. On the reverse, the eagle's feathers, once intricately detailed, may appear smoothed over, with little distinction between individual feathers. The arrows beneath the eagle may lose their definition, and the olive branch may become faint or partially obscured. In extreme cases, the entire reverse design may appear flat and lacking in detail, with only the general outline of the eagle and surrounding inscriptions remaining visible. The surface of the coin may also show numerous scratches, dents, and discolorations, as well as the accumulation of dirt and oxidation that can give the coin a dark or uneven appearance. These characteristics place the coin in lower grades on the Sheldon scale, typically ranging from about good AG3 to very good VG8 depending on the extent of wear. The 1969 Washington Quarter was minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, with Philadelphia coins bearing no mint mark and Denver coins marked with a small D on the reverse beneath the wreath. In coins that are heavily worn, identifying the mint mark can be difficult or even impossible, as the small letter may be one of the first features to disappear under prolonged circulation. The total mintage for 1969 quarters was substantial, with hundreds of millions of coins produced, ensuring their widespread availability. As a result, even today, 1969 quarters can often be found in circulation or in bulk coin lots, particularly in worn condition. In terms of value, a 1969 Washington quarter in bad condition is generally worth close to its face value of 25 cents, as it contains no silver and is relatively common. However, collectors may still assign a small premium to such coins, especially if they are needed to complete a collection or if they exhibit interesting characteristics such as unusual toning or minor mint errors. While rare and valuable error coins from 1969 do exist, they are typically found in better condition, and the chances of discovering a high-value error in a heavily worn coin are relatively low. Nonetheless, the possibility adds an element of excitement to the process of examining even the most ordinary-looking coins. Despite its modest monetary value, the 1969 Washington quarter in bad condition holds significant historical and educational importance. Coins like this circulated during a time of major social and political change in the United States, including the height of the Vietnam War, the Civil Rights Movement, and the early stages of the space race. As such, each worn coin serves as a tangible connection to the past, having passed through countless hands and participated in everyday transactions. The wear and tear visible on the coin's surface tell a story of use and movement, reflecting the dynamic and often turbulent era in which it circulated. Collectors often appreciate worn coins for the stories they tell, valuing them not for their pristine condition but for their authenticity and historical resonance. A heavily worn 1969 quarter may lack the sharp details of a mint state example, but it carries with it a sense of history that cannot be replicated. Each mark and imperfection is a testament to the coin's journey, offering a glimpse into the lives of the people who used it and the economic environment in which it functioned. In addition to its historical significance, the 1969 Washington quarter provides an opportunity for collectors to learn about coin grading, mint marks, and the effects of circulation on coin surfaces. By studying coins in various states of wear, collectors can develop a deeper understanding of how coins age over time and how their condition influences their value. This knowledge is essential for anyone interested in numismatics, as it forms the basis for evaluating and appreciating coins of all types and eras. In conclusion, the 1969 Washington quarter in bad condition may appear unremarkable at first glance, but it embodies a rich combination of history, design, and educational value. Its classic Flanagan design, clad composition, and extensive circulation history make it a meaningful artifact of mid-20th century America. While it may not command high prices in the marketplace, its true value lies in the insights it provides into the evolution of U.S. coinage and the everyday experiences of the people who used it. For collectors and enthusiasts, even the most worn example can serve as a gateway to a deeper appreciation of numismatics and the stories that coins can tell, proving that even in poor condition, these small pieces of metal carry a legacy that extends far beyond their face value. Please like and subscribe to my channel.